Oh my gosh, it's Monday again and we are already back. I feel like I didn't even have a weekend. How's your guys' weekends go? Pretty good? Hopefully you did something fun and you didn't work straight through the weekend. I did take one day off and do kind of nothing. Yesterday was kind of like a nothing day. Anyway, my buddy Vincent is back again with his Acura. And this is debatably the sickest one in our city at this point. Just because of all the fancy stuff on it. And it's turboed, so I mean, like, you really can't go wrong with anything. I think I might have shown you guys this one a couple weeks ago, the first time he brought it in when he first got it. But today it's here for some test pipes and fixing some notoriously crappy oil leaks. Boring stuff, nothing you guys care about too much. However, doing the test pipes does set us up for some good tuning situations in the near future, because it seemed like that was kind of what was bottlenecking us before. So we are going to go ahead and just kind of get the day started by fixing this car up.
It's hot.
You know what I got to do?
What's up?
I got to drive your car and see if it like moves around like Yari's car, because you've got those nice like Hasport motor mounts.
Nothing but vibrations in the car. Just
I know that's what everybody says, but like your options are like vibrations or a motor that clunks around.
Yeah.
So it's like a really hard thing. Like Yari keeps asking me like, what should I do? And I'm like, put some motor mounts in it. Like, I don't really care if it vibrates. I don't want to feel your motor clunking around in the car. It feels like kind of unsafe and ridiculous. So anyway, what are your guys' thoughts? Motor mounts? A little bit of vibrations, okay? I think it's okay. If it was me, I'd put the lowest urethane rating, like a 50A or something. That way it's only a little stiffer than the factory rubber, but no matter what, when you go from rubber to like a solid, you know, billet kind of mount, it just gets a little bit rougher in the car. Sometimes you just need it though, so. Okay, on to fixing this car. Okay, so we got the piping off. We had to motivate it with a little bit of cutting because some of the bolts were so rusted on they wouldn't come off. But now that we got that handled, look at how much nicer that's gonna be. It'll give us some similarly positioned OT sensors, which will be good for the car. Yeah, altogether, not too mad about this part yet. 1320. These guys are starting to make like everything you can think of for all kinds of cars. Especially the Z, like the Nissan platform and the Honda. 1320 guys are making like stuff for like a really good deal, and seems to all works pretty good, so why not? Alright, we're gonna go ahead and install this right now. And then we gotta do the VTEC gasket. You guys ever seen these? The factory VTEC gasket? His is just like dripping oil like crazy, like all under the car because the VTEC gasket's leaking. So we're gonna do a VTEC gasket and clean it all up, and then hopefully that's the only leak there is. But all right, so we got this VTEC solenoid off, and this little gasket right here, it like dries out like crazy and gets super flat. So if you guys haven't changed these in like a lot of miles, like this thing doesn't even really bend. It's like hard plastic at this point, and this one's all like bubbly and gummy and nice. This one's gonna seal up really good. Also, there's another gasket, like an O-ring underneath here, and these leak all the time too. So same situation with that, was super dried out. So we're gonna go ahead and throw this new one back on. That should take care of our horrible, horrible oil leak. Okay, so we got his new piping in, and the only thing that's a little bit weird is that these O2 sensors are kind of pointed like straight up, and we had to bend some of the shielding. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, some of the shielding right there, we had to bend it a little bit to get the O2 sensors to work. But if you consider it's a turbo kit and it's a modified downpipe, and it's a different than stock exhaust, it's possible that their locations are slightly off from factory too, so we're dealing with 3 aftermarket parts. We were able to get it to work. It's kind of alright. We'll leave it for now. So, not too bad. I'd say the piece looks nice, and as far as the flanges go, everything lined up and worked great. Hardware was good. So, yeah, I'd say I'd probably recommend it. Yeah, not bad. You ready to hear what it sounds like?
I'm ready.
Is it louder?
Yeah, it is.
Quite a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, test pipes make cars quite a bit louder.
Yeah, so it's the Grady turbo manifold to the test pipe, and then the Mugen DC5 twin loop. So the Mugen one is definitely more tame than the other ones, but under load it should be louder. But I can even hear it now. Instead of just like before with the exhaust leak, I would just hear like a lot of whooshing sound from like the engine bay. But now like it's finally like completed, so I can actually hear it out the rear.
Ah, there we go. Nice.
Super bright.
Gosh damn. That's so bright. Wow. I really like LEDs so much better. My arms are like cramping from the gym this morning. It's not my fault. I'm really strong, I promise.
Strong forearms, no power steering.
Not bad.
Oh, don't worry about that.
Does your steering always do that?
Yeah.
Why does it do that?
Well, when it pulls, you do a pull?
That's not normal.
It isn't?
Yeah, that shouldn't happen ever.
It's not just torque steer?
That's not torque steer. That is a broken part in the car somewhere.
It's my axle?
I don't think it's axle either. Holy crap. Holy crap, that might be the worst I've ever felt. Bump steer. That about pulls you off the road. That's terrifying.
I did pulls before and I was like, oh, I guess this is torque steer.
No, dude. Torque steers. I can let you drive the other one right now and it's not anything like this. Like both hands, I can't keep it on the road. That's not torque steer. That's incredibly dangerous. We gotta figure out what that is and fix it.
At least we know now.
Holy cow. Park. Okay, so I'm working on this Z that I've been ignoring for like 3 or 4 weeks because doing the roll cage just takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of space in the shop, and it's hard when you got day-to-day to work to, you know, fit in like a solid hard project. But I was doing something today. I want to show you guys. Hold on. So before, you guys might have seen in one of the other videos, I took all the dash stuff out, but I had left all the heater controls that were in the center. This was full of all the air vents and ducts, and that was the blower motor over there in that corner. Well, I pulled all that stuff out of there, and the problem with that is that in the engine bay itself, there's 2 coolant hoses, which there's no way you're going to be able to see because it's too dark. But basically back in this area, there's 1 coolant hose that comes out here, and 1 coolant hose that comes out over there. They just come straight out through the firewall, and it leaves these 2 hoses exposed. So I pulled everything out, and now I have these 2 hoses left over. And realistically, all I need to do is go to the store, get some hoses, get some pipe couplings, and it will be good. But the problem is, the slightly OCD version of myself decided that, you know, like if the factory put these aluminum hoses in there, and they have these really cool, like, you know, bead rolled ends on them, then why not take the factory box apart, cut up everything to the like angles and size that I need to stick the hoses back on like factory, and have it just loop through the hose, you know, maybe like the way that Nissan would have done it if they had done a, you know, like a heater box delete themselves. So it's probably a big waste of time, like, but you know, I just can't help it. So I'm gonna go ahead and weld this cool little aluminum hose up right here, and then stick it in the back of that car, and it'll be just like factory. It'll probably never leak or have any problems whatsoever, and I'll never have to think about it again. And he won't even have to get back there with like any kind of like hose clamps to have any kind of issues in the future. It'll just have factory ring clamps on it, just like the heater box would, and it'll probably have, it'll just be good. So anyway, I'm gonna weld those up right now, but I just thought I'd share that with you because the problem with learning how to do things with a welder is that all of a sudden you realize you can do a lot of things, and then, you know, you just can't leave it just ordinary. You gotta go a little above and beyond sometimes. No, Not bad, not bad. All it has to do is hold coolant behind the engine. Doesn't have to be super beautiful. It just has to function very, very good.